You gonna cry? We're on it. Hey guys, I'm on the way to the hospital. I'm in a lot of pain. Ooh, okay, it's coming. Okay, I gotta go.
What's up guys, it's Ash and welcome back to my channel. It has been a minute. The last time I did a video, I think I was 28 weeks pregnant, and now I am almost 4 weeks postpartum. So if you click on this video, you obviously know I had my baby. Her name is Mila Daisy Spence, and yeah, life has definitely been a whirlwind. It's changed tremendously, but I'm super happy. I'm in love with her, and yeah, I'm ready to tell you guys my labor and delivery story because it was a crazy one. It went nothing the way I thought it would. It was hectic. Let me just say, I had a whole birth plan. I had a whole picture in my head about how it would go, and it went nothing like it. Like, seriously. I have always dreamt of vlogging my entire birth, like her coming out and everything. That was my plan, and I didn't get to do it at all. As you saw in the intro, you saw little bits and pieces of what I could get, but I know it's like basically nothing, and that's why I'm here to explain kind of bits and pieces of what you saw. But yeah, let's get into it, guys, because it was crazy. I tried to film this video once already today, and when looking back, it was way too long and I mumbled and took forever. So I'm gonna try and give you a summarized version, and if you guys have more questions after this, then leave them down below and I will do another video to answer your questions. Basically, I'm just going to zoom right through it so that you're not bored. But basically, on the 26th of September, I woke up in the morning and I realized I lost my mucus plug. And if you guys know what that means that labor is coming, and it can, you know, come that day or it can come in the next 2 weeks. But I knew when I woke up and I saw that this baby was coming. Hold on, talk about my baby. She's waking up. Okay. So like I said, I saw my mucus plug come out. I knew I was going to have her soon, but I didn't know how soon. And so I actually had a church meeting to go to that morning, and actually every year at the same time of the year we have a big like church gathering, and we talk about what our church is gonna do in the next year to come and just kind of things like that. And so it's like usually a week-long type of thing. People fly in from all over the world to come to it, and honestly, because of COVID, like no one from overseas could come, but a lot of people from around the states flew in to be there, so I was not gonna miss it, even though I knew that baby time was around the corner. I got ready and I went to the venue, and by the time I got there, so that was around like 11 a.m., I started to get contractions, and they were about 5 minutes apart. But they were not terrible. Like, I could still talk through them, I could walk, I could, you know, concentrate on other things, but I still felt them. And I have a high pain tolerance, and that could be the reason, but everyone who saw me knew that I looked uncomfortable, and they would ask, like, you know, are you okay? And I told them, like, I think I'm in early labor and this baby is coming. But everyone literally looked at me like I was crazy. There was a lot of moms at this conference, and they were all like,
don't worry, honey, like when baby is about to come, you're gonna like be crying, you're gonna be in excruciating pain.
And I was like, okay, well, I have a high pain tolerance and I just have a feeling like she's coming. But everyone told me, no, it's probably gonna take 2 weeks. Like, you're still too early, you're only 37 weeks. I was like, okay, well, we'll see. My money is on the fact that she's coming in the next few days. I went through the conference like a champ. First 24 hours were okay. The second day, I was pretty over it. I was annoyed with the fact that I wasn't progressing. They weren't getting any closer and they weren't getting any stronger, but I was feeling them constantly. There was not a time during the day that I had any break from having contractions. They just kept coming. And so on the 27th, I decided that I'm going to try a few different natural methods of inducing labor. So I tried eating pineapple, I tried herbal drinks, I tried bouncing on an exercise ball, walking around, doing everything, like you name it, I did it. Nothing happened. And at this point, I know it's TMI, but I mean, this is what we're here for. I was having the runs. And so that was not fun either. To go to the restroom constantly and to have contractions constantly was not fun at all. But then also having obligations to be somewhere, it was a lot. So at the end of the second day, I was exhausted. And as I was going to bed, I was crying. I was super upset. I was telling Jaden, like, I'm so mad. I thought for sure she was gonna come, but it feels like maybe she will only be born in the next 2 weeks. You know, I don't know what the heck my body is doing. I've had a tough pregnancy already where I've, you know, gone into early labor before, and who knows what the heck's happening. So I felt really defeated, to be honest, because nothing was progressing. And so I went to bed, and to put the cherry on top, as I was going to bed, my contractions stopped for the first time in 2 days. And so I cried some more because I was like, geesh, gee, thanks. Like, I went through all of that for no reason, and now it stopped. Like, ugh. So I just went to bed, and looking back now, I'm so glad that I had a night's worth of sleep to kind of relax, because by the time I woke up at 7 a.m. the next morning, I realized I was in a lot of pain. I woke up in pain. And so I went to the bathroom, and when I pulled down my pants, I noticed there was some pink watery discharge in my underwear, and when I wiped, there was a ton of that discharge. And I was like, this is unlike anything I had ever seen before. I think my water broke. But I didn't want to tell anybody, because the last time I thought my water broke, it didn't, and it was super embarrassing to go to the hospital and then be sent home and them tell you that you probably just peed yourself. Like, it was not fun. And so I was kind of nervous, but the pain was incredible. It was so bad. And so I got up from the restroom, and I told my husband, I think my water broke, but I'm not sure, but I'm in a lot of pain. I think we should go to the hospital. And to give you some backstory, my sisters have really short, really fast labor and deliveries, like crazy fast, always like 6 hours long, and boom, the baby's out. So I was kind of like, okay, you know, if I've had pain for 2 days and now it's really bad, I should probably head to the hospital. Also, I think my water broke, but you know, I don't know. Also, another thing that like made me doubt whether or not my water broke was the fact that I didn't have a gush. It wasn't constantly trickling down, like I wasn't super wet. And those are two things that they told me to look out for, and they weren't happening. But it was just a gut feeling. You know, the pain that I was in was like immeasurable to the pain that I had the day before. So I was definitely in labor regardless, so I wanted to go get checked out. It took me 40 minutes to get my hospital bag ready, which already was pre-packed, let me just add, because I was in so much pain. I had to pause every time I had a contraction, and they were about 3 minutes apart at this point. They were really bad. And so I had my sister Sarah from Seattle in town, and she was staying with me for the conference. And I also had my sister Judah, who lives down the road. She slept over that night. So I had both sisters at my house. And so I walked out of the room, and I was like, guys, I think it's baby time. Like, I'm in so much pain. So they were like, yay, they were super excited. And we got ready, and by 7:40 a.m., we were all in the car. We took 2 cars, obviously, my husband and I in one car, and then my 2 sisters in the other car. And they decided to drive with me to the hospital because my sister Sarah was actually catching a flight back home like in a few hours. And she was like, you know, well, if you're gonna have the baby, like, I want to be by you for as long as I can, and I want to be able to say goodbye to you. So we all drove to the hospital, went to triage, and I was really nervous that they were like, you know, gonna send me home, your water didn't break type of thing, because it already happened to me. And I remember saying in the car through my pain, I was like, I'm so nervous that this is nothing, and I'm gonna feel embarrassed again. Like, that was what was going through my mind. I don't want to be embarrassed. Like, that was it. Not, oh my word, I could be having a baby. No, it was like, I don't want to be sent home. So anyway, so I'm waiting. They swabbed me to test if I had broken my waters. And the nurse comes back, and she was like, oh my goodness, girlfriend, this test came back super positive, like, you are having a baby today. And I was just like, holy cow, like, I can't believe this is happening. This is 3 weeks early. This is just crazy. So yeah, it was nerve-wracking. So Jaden went down to the car to tell my sisters that I was indeed not leaving the hospital, and he went to go grab our bags. And while he was gone and I was laying on the bed, that is when I felt the gush happen, which is crazy that my water did break, but I didn't feel that like popping yet. So yeah, it was a weird sensation to feel that happen. And then the nurse came back to take me to my room, and what was really strange was, instead of like giving me a wheelchair and wheeling me to my room, they made me walk. They made me stick a huge towel in between my legs so that I wouldn't drip all the way to my room. And they made me walk, which was terrible because at this point my pain level was kind of like a 6 out of 10, and it was really bad. Like, it was bad. So I was kind of like annoyed with the fact that they made me walk all the way to my room, but nevertheless I got to my room super excited, and they told me that my sister could come up. So it's kind of sad because I had 2 sisters and only one of them could come up with me and my husband. But my sister, who was flying that morning, she decided to stay in the car, and that she would get someone else to take her to the airport. So I had my sister Judah come up, and I was just like super excited, but in a lot of pain. And I had asked the nurse, when can I get my epidural? Because girlfriend, I'm in a lot of pain. And she was like, ooh, you know, you're only 2 centimeters. So not very far. You know, if your water didn't break, you'd be sent home. But, you know, we usually give an epidural around 4 or 5 centimeters. So you're probably gonna wait a while. And I was like, holy cow, well, I'm in excruciating pain. This is not fun. But she left the room and then came back 10 minutes later and was like, good news, I actually spoke on the phone with your doctor and she said you can get the epidural whenever you want. And I was like, perfect, I'll take it now, thanks. And then this is where the story gets interesting, and this is really the pivotal moment of where my labor story went downhill. And that is when my nurse informed me that the evening prior, they had a cyber attack on their entire hospital system. And I was like, a cyber attack? Like, what? What does the cyber attack entail, you might ask? Yeah, well, that meant that every single thing that needed to be done had to be done via paperwork. So they had to take my blood and send my blood work to get done in order to get my epidural, and that had to be done by a person running across from the one hospital to the other building, and then sending an order in for my epidural also via another person running back and forth. And I was like, you have to be kidding me, right? Like, what? But the hospital was super empty, so I thought, you know what, it's fine. It might take an hour, but like, I could wait an hour, like, that's fine. No. 4 hours go by. I am at this point screaming my head off. My contractions are about 1 minute apart and lasting about a minute. And at this point, I felt like I was going to poop myself. I was like, this is not funny. I'm going to poop. And this is embarrassing because I feel all this pressure and it feels so uncomfortable. And I could not get any relief. Like, it was awful. And so I called the nurse in and I was like, look, lady, I need some pain relief and I need it now. When is my epidural coming? So she informed me again that she had no clue and I still had to wait. And I was like, well, look, lady, I need something else. This is terrible. I wanted a pain-free labor and delivery, so you better bring in the medication, whatever that may look like. I need something. So she offered me fentanyl, and she also explained that it is a very temporary solution, that it didn't really last very long, but that she could give it to me. So I was like, yes, lady, give it to me. I want it all. So she administered the fentanyl, and honestly, nothing happened. Except for the fact that I was drowsy for about 15 minutes, but other than that, it did squat for me. It was honestly terrible. So I was like, okay, this is not working. I'm in a lot of pain. I feel like I need to poop. And the nurse is like,
honey, you have a long way to go, you know, so you just have to know that you're gonna probably feel worse.
And I was like, gee, thanks. Okay, no, I'm telling you, I'm at my worst. Like, this is terrible. So I asked her to check me, because at this point I thought I was ready to push. And so she checked and she informed me that I was only 3 centimeters dilated and 90% effaced. And at that moment I had lost all hope. I was like, great, I'm gonna be in so much pain and this labor is gonna be super long. I am obviously nothing like my sisters. Like, I actually said that out loud. Like, I was so mad and I was like, I'm nothing like them, this is crazy. And I had a good cry about it. Like, I was so mad. And so yeah, I was screaming and screaming and screaming and screaming for what felt like an eternity. And I'm the type of person that I can handle pain unless it becomes a mental like warfare. Then I'm a mess. And that's honestly what it was. Like, labor is no joke. Like, it was terrible. And at that point I was mentally just going in and out. I was crying my head off. I was in so much pain. I had asked if I could bounce on a exercise ball, and to which my nurse told me, no, you cannot get out of this bed. Which, I was only 3 centimeters dilated, so I don't know why the heck they would not let me go out of the bed. So I was like, why can't I get out of the bed? But anyway, so they offered me a peanut ball, which now looking back, that's what they use to like bring the baby down. So I don't know why they gave that to me as pain relief when all it was doing was like progressing me. And no, I just wanted pain relief. But anyway, needless to say, I had the freaking peanut ball in between my legs, laying on my side, screaming my head off. It was not fun. Like, I had no minute to breathe. Like, it just was back to back to back. So at the top of the 6th hour, and this is 6 hours since my water broke at home at 7 a.m. So it's about 1 p.m. and my nurse runs in the room. She's super happy, all excited, shoves paperwork in my face and says, quickly, quickly sign this. Your anesthetist is coming. You're getting your epidural. Like, this is gonna be awesome. Like, you're gonna feel so much better. I was super happy. I signed the paperwork. The anesthetist comes in and they tell me they're gonna have to sit me up and that I have to be completely still. And that freaked me out, because at this point, I don't care what the heck the epidural pain is gonna feel like. I don't care about a needle going to my back. I'm not even worrying about that. What I'm worrying about is the fact that I cannot control my body and what it's doing. And to sit up in a hunched position and to be still for 5 minutes is just not something that I can do, you know? So I was really nervous, and well, the nurse, you know, made me hunch over, put a pillow in between my arms and my stomach so that I could like lean over into it, and she held me, and they start putting the epidural in, and I get a contraction, and I had to calm myself like I've never done before. I had to just tell myself, like, you have to be still. Like, this is do or die. Like, you have to just chill out. And so I got through the first contraction. It was awful, to be honest, because I started to feel this intense pressure, which I hadn't felt because I hadn't been sitting. I had, you know, been resting my legs up. So to be sitting on a flat surface and to feel this incredible pressure with this pain was like not fun. So I was telling the nurse the whole time, I'm going to poop. Like, sorry, this is gross, it's TMI, but at this point I just feel the need to tell you that I'm going to poop myself. This is embarrassing. I'm freaking out. And she was like, honey, don't worry about it. If you have to poop, you're gonna poop, we'll deal with it. And I even had Jaden rub my back and tell me to poop if I had to poop, basically. And I was like, ooh, I don't know. Well, then the second contraction starts happening, and my body, so I'm curled up, right? Like, that's how you have to be. And my body starts flexing up and just going dead straight. And I was like, ah, and I was like, I'm so sorry, I can't help it. Like, I really had no control over my body. And I thought, like, shoot, the anesthetist is going to kill me, or I'm gonna be paralyzed because I'm not supposed to move. And so he was like, don't worry, I've already taken the needle out and all I have to do is put the catheter in. Like, we're almost done. Like, don't worry, you can move if you need to. Like, I understand. And so my body starts stretching out, and then I was like, oh my goodness, I am going to poop myself. Like, I can't even stress this point enough. To be in a position where you just have lost all dignity, you feel like you're going to poop. Like, this is just, it's happening. You just have to live with it and accept the fact that you are going to poop. And so that's what that's what was happening and how I was feeling in the moment. But as my body started to stretch out, and it just felt weird, like nothing I'd ever felt before. And then in that moment it clicked. It's not poop, it's a baby's head, and it's coming out of me. And so I was like, oh my gosh, she's coming out, she's coming out. I need to push. And my nurse was like, no you don't, no you don't, it's okay, it's okay. And I was like, I need this to be done, like I need to push. And so the anesthetist quickly taped my back up, and they started to lay me down to check, and literally I wasn't even on my back yet before my nurse was like, okay, you're 10 centimeters, like this baby's head is right there, she's coming out. And I was like, I knew it, like I knew the freaking whole time that I was gonna have her. And great, it's too late. Even though I have just had the epidural, like my baby's head is literally in between my legs. And will I have enough time to be completely numb? I don't think so. I even like remember freaking out and being like, well, will the epidural work before she comes out, you know? And then Anita just was like, sorry, I don't know, like I haven't even administered the medicine yet, like I'm only doing it right now. And I was like, holy cow, like okay, I'm having this baby completely like natural, this is what's happening. I had the undeniable urge to push, and it just was, my body was doing it itself. Like I wasn't even pushing, but my body was pushing. It was pushing so hard that I remember like trying to talk and like the air feeling like I had nothing to give out because my body was pushing so hard. But the nurse kept like yelling at me and telling me to not push, just breathe through it, wait for the doctor to come. But I was like, lady, there's no waiting. She's coming out of me. There's no waiting. There's no waiting. This is happening. And so thankfully the doctor came like so fast, and she even said to me like, I'm not even taking the time to put a hairnet on, like you're having this baby right now. And so she was super sweet, super nice. Everything after that like happened so fast. They got my legs all ready, like in the stirrups. I had Judah on one side and Jaden on the other side holding them up for me. Even though I had complete feeling and didn't need them to hold it, they still did it, kind of like a moral support type of thing. But they held my legs up and I just bared it for the world. And what was really frustrating was the fact that they let all the medical students in, and if I had my birth plan in order, that would not have happened. But again, everything was happening so like fast that I had no control over the situation. Like I just kept thinking to myself, I need to have this baby. That was all that I was worrying about, was just getting her out of me. And so they had me ready. I was in the birthing position, ready to push her out, and it only took 20 minutes. Yeah. So it was 1:04 by the time the anesthetist was done and they found out that the baby's head was out. And it was 1:24 when she popped right out of me. I only pushed for 3 consecutive times, so 3 different times. And the only reason why it took 20 minutes is because my doctor was amazing. She decided that she was gonna stretch me out down there so that I wouldn't tear. So that's really why it took 20 minutes, because she really wanted me to take the time in between my contractions to relax so that she could stretch me out. And yeah, by 1:24 p.m. on the 28th of September 2020, my baby Mila Daisy Spence entered the world. She was born, she cried, she was beautiful and so tiny. And it was really crazy because her umbilical cord was so tiny that they couldn't even put her on my chest. She had to be put on my belly at first. Another part of my birth plan that didn't happen was I wanted to do a delayed cutting of the cord, but honestly I was so eager to see my little baby, and the cord was so short that I couldn't see her. I could just see her back. And so I was like, cut the cord, and they were able to give her to me. And that was a hectic experience. 6 hours from start to finish. Yeah, it was intense. And if I could like give any advice to anybody, it would honestly be that your birth plan, as amazing as it may be, may not go to plan. And so don't put your heart and soul and all of your expectations in the fact that you're gonna get your birth plan the way you want it to, because so many different things could happen. And at the end of the day, all that you really want is for your baby to be healthy and to come to the world in one piece. So that's like what I would say is just, you know, create a birth plan, try to obtain everything that you want if you can, if you have the time, if you have all the ability to do that. But you know, don't be heartbroken if it doesn't go to plan, because let me tell you, that was nothing like what I wanted. Nothing at all. I wanted to have my labor and delivery be as pain-free as possible. I know a lot of people kind of told me off when I would tell them that I wanted an epidural. They were like, you know, that's gonna make the baby sleepy, it's dangerous, it's not good for your baby, blah blah blah. No, honey, if that is what you want, go for it. But if you want a natural labor and delivery, then also know that you are 100% capable of it. I did not think that I was capable of it. I didn't even want to attempt to do that. But the fact that I was able to labor all the way from 1 centimeter to 10 centimeters within a short period of time, and the fact that I could push her out of me, I know. And honestly, the pushing was like a piece of cake in comparison to the contractions. So let me just give you that peace of mind. Yeah, you are so capable of it. Like, us women, we were literally designed to be able to do this. And so find comfort in the fact that you are more than capable of it. Will it be easy? Will it be fun and a piece of cake? No, it will not. It will be the hardest thing in your entire life that you will ever have to do. But it is so worth it, because at the end of the day, you get a beautiful little baby. And I would do it again, even though I'm a little traumatized. I would definitely do it again, because it is worth it at the end of the day. So that is my labor and delivery story. I tried to make it as smooth and summarized as possible, but you know, life is life, and it's hard to summarize 6 hours into 20-30 minutes. But yeah, that is how it went. If you have more questions for me about what happened and more details, then I'd be happy to sit down and make another video to answer those questions for you. So leave a comment down below. You could also follow me on my Instagram. It is asher.music, and you can comment there as well. But yeah, I'm also going to be doing a series of videos of things I wish I knew before I had a baby. And the first one that I'm doing, guys, is about breastfeeding, because boy, was I extremely unprepared and naive on the matter. And so I had a lot to learn, and I honestly went through hell. And honestly, I'm just so glad that my baby is fed and she's healthy. But that experience in itself was nothing like I planned. And you know, breastfeeding is quote unquote supposed to be super natural to you. And the one thing that I have learned is that when you give birth and you try and breastfeed, not only do you as the mom have to learn how to breastfeed, but your baby has to learn. Even though it is a natural instinct for them, they still have to learn how to do it correctly. And if they don't do it correctly, you are going to be in a whole lot of pain. And so I'm going to be posting a video about breastfeeding and formula feeding and all that kind of stuff. Just basically how to feed your baby and how to take care of yourself, and things that I went through and what I've learned. So if you are interested in that video or how-to videos, then they are definitely coming. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the thumbs up button. You can subscribe, you can share the video, leave a comment. I love reading comments. But yeah, I hope to be making videos frequently, but again, I'm a new mom. My baby is only 3.5 weeks old, so life is definitely different, but I will try my best to do that. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and see you guys in my next video. Bye.